Hi there, my next idea for you to have some creative expression without having to worry about doing a finished painting is based on some of my deconstruction and reconstruction pieces. So this is simplifying it right down, but it's actually where I first started with this. It was the inspiration that started me doing my collage work. So I just want to show you a very simple way of using a painting that you kind of like but kind of don't. But just give you some creative outlet of a way of working. It's no stress, it's a painting you're not going to put in a frame anyway, so there's no need to have a finished painting at the end of it, but I bet you'll end up with one. So let's get going. Okay, so the first challenge is finding the piece that you want to work from. So this is one that I created using the similar technique that we used the other day of splashing some paint around and seeing what you see in it. It's not a very interesting whole painting, but this bit here is quite interesting, so I could use that piece. It could be something from a sketchbook or a piece of paper that I've been using for experiments. I love all the textures on here, this was great fun, but it could be that you've done a little piece like that you want to extend, so that's an option. It could just be taking a section out or a stripe or a part of a painting. You know, that bit's quite nice. You could take a piece out there and extend it. But there's no reason why, you know, it's paintings that you're not 100% happy with that you should use for this. But I think this is the one that I'm going to use. I think the painting as a whole is sweet but quite boring. So, but I quite like the town that's on the top of the hill here. So this is the bit we have to get a bit brutal to see what happens. So there we go, we've got that bit there. Don't want square edges, so let's take some of that off, some of the sky off, and we're left with this piece here. So then I have to decide, do I want my piece landscape or portrait? I quite like it in this instance landscape, so I now need to stick that down. I'm just going to use Pritt Stick to put this down. This is archival and acid free, and I use it in quite a lot of my artwork. So, and then let's decide where we put this. Do we have it up there or down there or slap bang in the middle? I think I'm going to have it just offset about there. Just taking a little time to make sure that's stuck down. That's all stuck down. It just sometimes takes a couple of minutes to make sure you've got all your corners glued down properly. So I'm going to extend my hillside on both sides. I'm going to put in a more interesting sky than I had before. I've got this hillside here, so we can bring that up there. Already I think this is a more interesting composition than I had before. We may add a couple more little buildings. Let's have a couple more buildings here. Tower on that one. I'm just copying some of the buildings that were over here really. A few more trees. I like the tall cypresses that you get on these hillsides. So we've now got 3 areas of interest. My biggest area, a very small area, and then a medium-sized area. And I'm going to draw you back and then start painting. Okay, so I'm going to start off painting the sky. Now I'm painting this very vertically, so it's going to be interesting. It's going to run a bit, and that's fine. This is again about getting you to loosen up and just enjoy a bit of painting. That's what this is about. I'm going to mix together some of my ultramarine, and I've actually got some peacock blue here, but a bit of intense blue, a bit of phthalo. So I'm mixing these two colours together here. That's a more interesting colour than the original sky. Don't need to put it onto there. Now, as I can see quite clearly here, it is behaving differently on my old piece of paper, which has been in the cupboard for a very long time, than on the new paper. The new paper I'm using, I'm working on my £140 Bockingford. Quite like how that's gone there. Just playing. Because you know this isn't, you know, a picture that you're precious about, you can experiment with all those ideas. Let's have this moodily coming down. I can see this is going to be weird on this old paper, but that's okay. I embrace my inner weird. Not sure what's going on there, let's just have a little fiddle. Just got to remember to bring it down to the top there, because that little halo looks a bit odd. Be interesting to see how that dries off afterwards, but I quite like. There's a few things I don't quite like, so like I say, this is experiment time, isn't it? I've just taken a damp tissue here, not just a dry tissue. I've actually put some water into it, and that's giving me some different marks. I'm getting loads and loads of cauliflowers in there, which I quite like. Okay, I'm going to leave that to dry for a little bit, so I'm going to come and block in my hillsides here. The green on that main hillside, the original hillside, looks quite sap greeny to me. So let's extend that out. But I also think we need to work back into that, because I need that hillside to sit behind the other one. So what I've got here is I've got some purple. So that is my ultramarine and some of my rose to give me this lovely rich purple. Tiny touch of water, and I'm going to bring that in behind this hillside. Now, that should make this building stand out a little more as well. And again, on that old paper, it's really taking the paint different to the new paper, but that's okay. That's what this playing is about. I didn't come into this with any expectations. I just wanted to get my creative juices flowing. Okay, so I now need to put in my hillside, and this is much more of a sandy colour, so I'm going to come in with mostly yellow ochre. There's a little bit of muck off the palette there, as you'd expect from me, but it's mostly yellow ochre. Beautiful rich golden colour. Let's put a bit of greenery along there. I've got my greenery there. I will add to that all later. I'm going to take my purple, speckle this. If you don't want it to go up here, just put your arm or hand across so it only goes where you want it. You'll end up with a speckled arm, but that's okay. Okay, I've got lots of things I want to do on this. I just need that to dry for now, so hang. Okay, so I've stuck my picture down, I've painted that rough background in, and I will be back tomorrow to show you what I do with it.